All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Colman Power Organic Fitness Podcast. If you are a long-time listener to the show, welcome back. If you are a first-time listener, where have you been? And also welcome. So we have our latest Q&A that I have lined up from pooling questions either from people I'm training, mentor, or coaching, and following that from social media platforms that I'm quite active on at the minute are definitely TikTok. Daily. And for those of you that follow me religiously, you know there was a ban there. We won't even go into that. I'm back in action again. I don't even want to say it in case they're listening. They can't put me off podcast. Nothing to do with that. So TikTok, Colman Power. You have also Instagram, Colman Power Organic Fitness, and Facebook too. Send me in messages either on your own as anonymous. Some of these questions come in, or if you want to shout out, which a lot of people do on the episode, hit me up with your name and where you're from, and most certainly you will get your name called out in that next Q&A that I have. So there's three main topics, and as I sit here with my warm beverage just today, because I was actually outside doing a bit of grounding previous to this, it's cacao and maca powder. Unbelievable stuff. I love it. Just going to take a drink of it now. Well, cacao and maca powder is something that I have on a regular basis, about 15 grams each, just due to the fact that they're both high in antioxidants, reducing stress on the body, and as well as that, the maca powder is something that is an adaptogenic and helping your body to deal with and balance hormones, which is key for, in particular, women. And then going over to the cacao powder, that is high in magnesium. Magnesium is so important for your body. Okay, also found in dark leafy greens, but cacao powder is something that I have in my morning beverage, and I like the taste of it with a bit of pinch of pink Himalayan salt, which is unbelievable. Okay, let's get into this week's episode. The first of the three questions is feeling overwhelmed with meal prep, work, training, getting in steps and sleep. That's the first question. That's in from Anonymous. Next thing is what to do. Can't even read my writing. What do I do the days I'm tired and not physically, but mentally? And that's a question aimed at myself. What do I do? And I suppose I expand on that point. That comes in from Ashley, all the way from the USA. We have over on the final question, we have what to replace animal protein with other than tofu. And this is from Jana. This is in brackets Y-A-N-A. Yana could be a way of pronouncing it. I hope we're not butchering this name. And then it comes over from TikTok, and the name on TikTok is PYJIMNANAAM. There we go. A dyslexic nightmare to read out those type of names on a live podcast. So here we go. Those are the three main topics that we're going into, and I'm going to start off with feeling overwhelmed with meal prep, work, training, steps, and getting 10,000 steps, and as well as that sleep. So what I want you to remember is that wherever you are on the fitness journey, and starting today or previously on, I suppose, looking for a healthier lifestyle, that's exactly what you have to make it. You have to make it fit your day. You have to make it fit your week. And as a result of that, it becomes a habit. And once you have a habit built into your routine, and routine is the word I'm going to be harping on about here, because it has to fit your routine. We all have to work a certain amount of hours in a week. We all have family members and friends that we want to spend time with, but it's important that you include those family members, include your friends. Whenever I go home, I'm based here in Cork at the minute, or meet up with friends or family members, I try and incorporate in either a walk or some form of activity. With my father, who loves to be outside, similar to myself, but he does more, I suppose, gardening. I enjoy going out with him and incorporating and looking after, I suppose, hedges and cutting grass, and that, I suppose, is a way of connecting me and him together. But for other people, it's making it social, going for walks, going for hikes, and you can train in groups, which I do when I bring people onto the program, because that's what it's about. It's about building a community, building more like-minded friends and connections that want to be healthier, that want to be, I suppose, a better version of themselves. And it's fine to have people and friends and family members that aren't, I suppose, as interested in improving their health as you. And that's no problem at all. And what you need to focus in on is, I suppose, if you are feeling overwhelmed, remember that for the training, for the most part, it's a minimum of 20 minutes, and getting that into your morning routine can be key, because when you do things in the morning, as a result of that, nobody else can take it away from you. You say, oh, Colman, I'm a bit tired in the morning. But I must stress the fact that going to bed a little bit earlier is really going to help you get back into, I suppose, you attacking the day. Because what you make priority first thing in the morning is really going to, I suppose, nail down your done workout steps before anybody can even come at you, whether it be you looking at your phone, which most people do first thing in the morning. I don't, for the first 30 minutes of my day, look at my phone. Okay, I get whatever I need to get done, and that involves stretching, that involves grounding, that often involves workouts and other commitments such as note taking before my day starts. I also do a bit of journaling and being grateful for things, which really helps with positivity, which I also do recommend people to do, because you can't actually be two emotions at once. So if you're grateful for a simple thing such as literally you going into a new week and you either having your meal prep done, and as a result of that, then you're going to be happier because the foods you eat have a direct result of the way you look, you feel, and how much energy levels you have. So I suppose getting it into more of a lifestyle approach, making your, we'll call it, your things that need to get done, whether it's your training, your meal preps, whether it be your overnight oats, whether it be your smoothies, ready to rock and roll. So you have your most, we'll call it, daunting tasks that were a bit overwhelming prior to this, because it can be overwhelming. But the thing is, you're just looking for an improvement, because it's not just about asking Colman, not just me, the fact that, oh, how many grams of cacao butter should I have in my tea? 15 grams, but that's not going to really help you. What you need to do is make priority and the bigger things that need to get done, such as your training. Are you getting in 4 minimum requirements of training done per week? Are you getting in 10,000 steps? Okay, if you are getting in those 3 things, next thing I'll work on, are you getting in 3 main meals? Okay, super, you're getting in 3 main meals. You're going up the ladder again, you're going a little bit higher in your fitness level. Are you getting in enough protein in your diet? Okay, what's the recommended amount? 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kg of body weight. Are you getting in enough fiber, which is the next thing I recommend? Protein, fiber, and fiber comes from carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, and are you getting in what type of fiber? And touching on fiber being so beneficial for your gut health, which I'm a firm believer in as well. Are you getting in local produce? Are you getting in organic produce? Are you getting in chemical free? All the time, local, fresh, and organic is the gold standard. Or the next step on the ladder is, are you, I suppose, then hitting and consuming healthy fats such as high omega-3s, whether it be hemp seeds, which I do recommend. New and Naturals winner there. And I've even mentioned the discount code Colman15 if you want that. Is the discount code. They're an Irish-based company. I use them. I've previously been using them for the last 4 years. I love the lads. I love the fact that the food is single ingredients. Then walnuts are also high in omega-3. Do you eat fish sources of meats? If you do, you could incorporate in most certainly grass-fed animals are going to have higher concentrations. Like, don't eat meats. You could also go into fish. Fish being another complete protein source, that I must stress that you have to have complete proteins in your diet. So when you are having any main meal, always focus in on those 3 things: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates from single ingredients. And that's really, in a nutshell, those are the steps of hierarchy of needs. You making it, I suppose, a little bit of an improvement on where you are today to where you want to be. You have to, I suppose, break it down into incremental improvements, because if you look at it, the whole picture, you're like, oh, Colman, I have all this meal prep to do, I have my training to do, and you told me then I have to get adequate amount of sleep, and find it difficult to sleep. You need to slow down. Sometimes you need to slow down before you can speed up, because the thing is, if you think of it as a huge task, that's exactly what it is. But remember, you take every day, hour by hour breaks down to day by day. And as a result of that, you're getting closer. You're getting into a better version of you nailing down what times you like to train, what foods you like to have. where to get the foods, when you do the shop, okay? Because just like a business or just like anything, there has to be structure, there has to be routine, because if you don't have a routine, you do things at random. When you do things at random, you get a random result. It's so important that you have, okay, a healthier lifestyle and doing the things that you know already that benefits you. You know the foods to eat, you know the training to do, you know the time that suits you. Why? Because it's your life and you have to make it fit your life. Because if I told you the best time to train is in the evening and that didn't suit you because you had to bring an individual to a training, or you had to meet somebody, or you had work later on, whether it be your files, whether it be a meeting, you name it. The thing is, it has to fit your lifestyle. Don't just do something just because somebody else does it at that time, or eats that specific type of food, or does that type of training or fasting, or has that certain type of diet. There's no one single thing that everybody should do. Why? Because we're all different. And that's one of the most important things for you to realize in any given day. Okay, you have to make it fit your lifestyle. It has to be part of your daily habits that are then turned into your daily routines that you can take long term, because fitness is not just for 6 weeks. It's not just for 90 days. It's for life. You have to consistently have these things done so that you can continue to improve. Okay, that's, I suppose, wrapping up that first question, which was a detailed one from someone who wanted to stay anonymous, which is absolutely fine. And then we'll go on to the next question coming in from Ashley. What do I do personally on the days I'm tired, not physically, but mentally? Okay, another sip of my beverage. I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, it often happens to me. But what I do is I focus in on just that exact thing that I need to get done, because that training session, whether I'm tired due from work, is something it's mental, not physically. So you have to remember that sometimes you have to do the things that you don't want to do to get the things that you want. I have I suppose a fitness physique that I want to maintain, and as a result of that, I have to do the training. I have to do cooking, and I have to focus in on the things that I enjoy in part of the training. I don't enjoy, I suppose, the cardio based stuff, because I don't know anybody that does. If anybody does, I don't understand it just as of yet. Running, I don't enjoy running, but I do forms of running, and I do forms of high intensity interval, either 30 seconds on and 10-second rest, or 20 seconds on or 10-second rest, of running from one electric pole or light post to the next, whether you're in the country or in a built up city area. These are things that I add into the end of my workouts. Why? For finishers. But I do enjoy the likes of a little bit of the weight training. So that's what I kind of focus in on. It's when you lead is it the donkey? Lead the donkey or the horse with a carrot or a stick, on a stick. It's kind of the approach that I have for myself. And that gets me, I suppose, to have some part of enjoyment out of the training. And remember, it's only a small part of your day. And then looking forward to the meals that are after it. I do enjoy the foods that I eat. I most certainly do. And those are the things you have to focus in on, especially on the days that are tough, and you have to do it, because if you don't do it, you cannot gain the advantage of it. You have to have, I suppose, that mindset that if you want something different, you have to do something different. And when I suppose, started off training, it's the fact that I was like, oh God, I was spending so much time on training and I wasn't seeing, I suppose, the exact results that I wanted. It's because I was doing training at random. And again, that quote that comes to mind, it's so strong. If you're doing things at random, you're going to get a random result. You have to be specific. You have to be specific with your training. You have to be specific with your foods. And it is difficult, okay? But the things that are difficult are often the things that you need to do most in your life. And that comes down to you being clear on what you want. Goal setting is massive. You have to be clear on what you're looking to achieve, because writing things down is getting it from up top, comes straight down from the pen, written down on a piece of paper or a whiteboard, which I'm a firm believer in as well. You can see in the YouTube, people are watching it on YouTube. I do these things because they benefit me. I got these tips, I got these strategies from mentors that I've had along the way, and they've really helped me big time. And anybody that I come into contact with, I recommend them the same. If you're listening to this podcast, start writing down what you want. Start getting clear and have goals, have aspirations, have 6-week goals, have 6-month, have year goals, have 5-year goals, because that's what you're looking for. It's progress. Progress equals happiness. The more of the things that you do on a regular basis that benefit you, even on the days where it's piss and rain and Colman told you to get 10,000 steps, you have to do that. We're coming into winter. It's going to get cold. It's going to get wet. But again, what are we focusing in on? We're focusing in on the summer. The spring is even closer than that. You're focusing on the days that it is going to be a little bit drier. And that's what you're going to have to do. You have to focus in on the positives, because if you focus in on the negatives, inevitably, you're less likely to do whatever it is that you were told to do or you're recommended to do by Colman or anyone else who's into fitness and health. I want you to remember that you decide what gets done every day, and you have to do it on the days that it's shitty outside, the days that you're struggling, the days where you got put down, someone put a negative thought in your head and you're doubting yourself, but believe in yourself. You have to do it. You have to remember that you're looking to be the best version of yourself, and that starts with the thoughts that you think every single day. Listen to more beneficial people, whether that be me, whether it be a book that you're listening to on positivity, on achieving whatever it is that you want to get out of life, because that's what life is. Life is about a journey. Okay? And you have to, suppose, look at it as that. Where you are right now is what you've done in the past. But if you want something different, you have to focus in on doing things slightly different. If you weren't doing your training previously, you weren't eating and making healthier food choices, if you were hanging around with negative people, if you weren't being the best version of yourself, you need to now start doing those things. You need to do the training. You need to do better food choices. You need to go to country markets. You need to grow your own, or inevitably the quote that comes to mind again is, again, you can either grow your own or you buy it, but make sure you add it to your diet, because food is massive. The more times you eat foods that benefit you, the better. The more times you consume anything, whether it be foods or information, make sure it's from someone you switch would trade places with. Okay, because I've often taken advice from and heard from people who've taken advice from people that they wouldn't trade places with. Oh, Sally, do you think I should do intermittent fasting? And then Sally, 10 pounds overweight or 20 pounds overweight, and you're going to go, she said, oh yeah, intermittent fasting, that'll be great. Why are you listening to that individual? And I apologize if anyone is named Sally, and I've just kind of blackened their name right now. But the whole analogy is, you need to listen to people who you like, know, and trust. And what I'm going to tell you is, I actually just want people to be happier. I want people to be healthier. This podcast is free. I put out so much free content on either social media every single day, every single week. I put out 3 posts on TikTok a day. I put out 3 posts on Instagram daily. I put out 1 YouTube video, I'm going to say, every second day. I put out a podcast that comes out every single Thursday. And this information is 100% guaranteed to help you, but that's if you put it into practice. Information and knowledge is key, but what's even more important is you putting it into practice. Because I tell people what training to do. I tell people where to get the best type of foods and what type of foods are so beneficial for them. I even tell them down to the nitty-gritty of how much to have of their daily food consumption. I must stress, you have to do it. There's nobody else can do it for you. Okay, that's massive. Let that sink in. You cannot gain the advantage of something you do not do. Be the change you want to be, you want to see. You really have to do everything that you can in your power. And remember, you have the power. You're doing everything that you can. And if you're not, you need to start doing it today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Wherever you're listening to this right now, whether it's in the car, whether it's on a walk, whether you're cleaning the kitchen, whatever you're doing, just be the best version of yourself. You don't have to be the best at anything. You just have to be your best. You have to give your 10 out of 10. You have to get up, you have to move. And if you want something more, you have to do more. You do more, you get more. And like, I get goosebumps talking about this. And for those on YouTube, you can see it. It's clear as day. I have a major passion for health and fitness and lifestyle approaches to you being the best version of yourself. And I say that the best version of yourself because I used to compare myself to other people. My brother, who's taller, who was at the time, he was stronger than me, and even my sister, who's older than me, and she has a master's degree, and she has, even on top of that, other qualifications, that I was then sitting in the middleman, who was someone who wasn't as intelligent, wasn't as book smart, wasn't as good at sport as my brother. And I can tell you as sure as hell, when you compare yourself to somebody else, whether it be family members or friends, you take away the joy of what you have, right? And now I focus in on me. I don't compare myself to anybody else. I just try to do my best. And what I've done is I've set up a business, I've set up an online coaching and mentoring program for people to come through, to be happier, to be healthier, but to be more positive, to connect with more people, to eat better foods, to be more sustainable, to just pick and choose and have the best lifestyle that you possibly can, from the moment you get up, to grounding, to stretching, to workouts, to consuming foods and information from people that are going to bring you forward. And if you're hanging around with negative people and doing negative things that don't serve you, whether it's drinking excess alcohol, whether it's consuming drugs on a regular basis, the thing is, you need to start doing and listening and consuming more of the things that benefit you. And that's, I suppose, it in a nutshell. Like, the power of the organic fitness lifestyle is what you make of it. It's food, it's habits, it's lifestyle, it's information that you can gain the advantage of if you decide to today. And I suppose that brings me on to the final question coming in from Iana. What foods to replace animal protein other than tofu? So this is an absolute winner for those of you that listen to me regularly. I'm going to tell you, tofu is actually, for 100 grams of it, but a fist size, if you're consuming tofu, is 100 grams is 12 grams of protein. So I'm going to say eggs first, if you are, suppose, able and would like to consume that. I'm a major fan of eggs. Why? Because there's no animals hurt in the likes of its production of that complete protein source. But if not, tempeh is a really, really breadwinner. It's again from a soybean, which is fermented. Fermentation foods are beneficial towards your gut health. Gut health is great for we'll call it increasing natural microorganisms in your stomach, which leads to you being a happier individual, because 90% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. And that's another thing that I have completely changed up. I came from a diet of eating bacon and cabbage sandwiches on white bread with butter, and that didn't serve me. But then I suppose another complete protein source that I've totally added into my diet that have totally helped and improved my overall nutrition, leading on to overall health and happiness, is hemp seeds. Hemp seeds, 15 grams of that alone is going to get you 5 grams of protein. And then other plant-based protein sources that I do recommend are lentils. 100 grams of lentils, again, is about a fist size. You grab a fist of it and pour it into your pot or pan, whatever way you're cooking it, is about 24 grams of protein. But that's, Colman, that's a lot of protein in one thing. Yes, you don't have to also consume 100 grams of that all at once. You consume half that. You have then with some tempeh, you have some hemp seeds mixed in there. You can get over 35 grams of protein for that meal. Then add in some onions, garlic, and leek for flavor, and some organic veg stock bouillon. That is organic veg stock that I currently use, and I do recommend it. Again, that's something that you can get in health food shops, more so in your large stores. You can order on Amazon, comes straight to your door. And then the other two complete protein sources that I do recommend are, quinoa and bulgur wheat. Those two are also complete protein sources, which also contain all 9 essential amino acids. And I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I do have a high percentage of plant-based proteins in my diet. So tofu, tempeh, hemp seeds, lentils because a regular basis. Why? Because they contain beta carotene. Beta carotene can naturally improve your skin health. It's an antioxidant, which I do recommend, reduces stress. And what's the advantage of plant-based proteins over meat sources? Firstly, they're typically much cheaper. For those of you looking to save a few pounds, people are saying that being healthy is expensive. I'm going to tell you that they're not only cheaper, but and getting them chemical-free and organic, they're cheaper. As a result, that they have antioxidants and they have fiber. That's the main two differences. Okay, meat has higher typically protein source, but the advantage of those plant-based sources are antioxidants. Antioxidants reduce stress. Okay, if you want, I suppose, more energy, you don't reduce down stress in your body. Less stress, you sleep better. When you sleep better, and sleep being one of the pillars of health, you improve your overall energy levels. That fiber is something that improves your immune system. If you want to improve your immune system, you need fiber from exactly plant-based sources. Every vegetable has plant-based sources, but if you want plant-based sources with added advantage of complete protein sources, those are them: tofu, tempeh, and hemp seeds, quinoa, and bulgur wheat. I have several different meals up on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out, and or on my weekly posts on Instagram, I most certainly, and even TikTok. There's meals, and I'm sure last week's meal would have had bulgur wheat with veg stock, and another food that's in season right now is leeks, which are high in a type of fiber called inulin, which I'm a firm believer in. If you add in the likes of leeks to your diet, you most certainly will be naturally improving not only the flavor of your foods, but also the likes of your gut health. Gut health is so important. Okay, they're very easily grown, leeks, harvested this time of year, so in the start of the growing season in spring. So if you have, I suppose, ability to grow some of your own leeks next year, I would highly recommend it. If not, get your hands on some delicious lee. They're like in the same family as onions. That's why onions, garlic, and leeks are all good for gut health, because they also contain that specific type of fiber. And in a nutshell, I'm going to give you the example of plant-based protein supplement after a meal that I would have, supposed to hit my daily recommended of protein intake. So I've written it down here. One salad type lunch I would recommend is 100 grams of tempeh is 18 grams of protein. You have 100 grams of any type of beans, would be kidney beans that are high in, I suppose, plant-based protein. That's 7 grams of protein per 100 grams. Then you have 15 grams of hemp seeds, 5 grams. Then you have 70 grams of kale, roughly, is 2 grams of protein. So that gets you over, as I was talking about, that 30 mark, which I do recommend for your main meals, of hitting your protein target for you from whole foods. So there's an example of that. Add some veg stock to that meal. That's all in one pan. That's cooked in less than 12 minutes. Bish bash bash. We're going to name out those 5 ingredients again. You have tempeh. Get it in a glass jar. It's more sustainable. Then you have kidney beans. Okay, any beans you like. Then you have hemp seeds. You have a naturals winner. Then you have kale. Any greens also would help there. Spinach, a rocket arugula, 100 grams, between 70 and 100 grams is 2 grams of protein. 32 grams of protein in that bish bash bash. That is a lovely meal with any spices you like. Oregano, also another one that I do recommend. It's also be high in antioxidants, reducing stress, and flavor to your dishes. So that's a simple meal, but the supplement that I do currently take for hitting my protein targets after my workouts in a yogurt soya based would also be Sunwire. It's a pea-based protein that is non-dairy, because I don't tolerate a lot of dairy in my diet, and I would recommend people to, I suppose, try and add in more plant-based proteins to their diet, just for the added advantages that we touched on here. Fiber, the likes of fiber keeps you fuller, preventing cravings. It has antioxidants, and antioxidants for the most part are only found specifically in vegetables and fruits. The thing is, meat sources don't contain that, but they do contain protein. But it's all dependent on what, I suppose, your current diet and dietary requirements are. Just looked into the kitchen across my left. There's now a bird flying around my kitchen. Don't call me Mr. Organic Fitness for nothing. After this podcast, I will have to get that bird out the window. I swear to God. Oh, if I could show you that there now, I would. All right, we gotta wrap that up. Get this bird out of the kitchen. That's the second time this happened this month. Okay, all right. As we always end these podcasts with saying, stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic. And let's get this bird out of here. All right, let's end this one.